Hi, I'm a professional belly passer at Belly Pass TV, and in this video, I'm going to determine how good Vector would be at Belly Pass. To answer this, I'm mostly going to cite this scene, where Vector announces his name and then performs an absolutely emblematic belly pass.
Crimes with both direction and magnitude. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Just like with Shrek, I'm going to use this scene to grade Vector's hypothetical belly pass skills using a 5-way radar graph to measure and compare his strengths and the 5 keys of belly pass: strength, speed, precision, endurance, and perception. Now, unlike the scene I examined in the Shrek video, there isn't a lot to take away from Vector's thrust scene, other than his exceptional belly pass form. It's hard to tell for sure since he doesn't actually thrust a ball, but I think it's safe to say that if this move was done with one, it would be very effective in belly pass. This is because he clearly thrusts the entirety of his lower body with a large amount of force, and also does the move very quickly. It's also noteworthy that Vector is wearing his warm-up suit in this scene, as well as in all of his other scenes, and this suit clearly allows him to be more agile and fast, which would be very useful in belly pass. In fact, later in the film when Vector is asked what he's warming up for, he says it's for super cool stuff you wouldn't understand, which is obviously a reference to belly pass. So now that we've looked at Vector's thrust, we can use the evidence in that scene in combination with what we've seen of Vector in his other appearances to determine how good he would be at belly pass. In particular, the 5 keys of belly pass, where each key is necessary for a player to keep up with the game. The first key is strength, which I can assume Vector is above average with. Even if Vector himself isn't seen to be very physically strong, his pot-bellied build and exceptional thrusting form is definitely enough to make his abilities formidable. So I'm going to give Vector's belly pass strength an 8 out of 10. The second key is speed, which Vector is also decently skilled with. He very quickly initiates his thrusts, and could possibly be at an advantage from his warm-up suit. For example, in this shot from the 2023 short film, Mooned, heavily featuring Vector, he darts off of this rock into a forward dive, and then rolls his way into a high jump, now holding his gun. So clearly he is capable of being very agile and fast, which is necessary in belly pass. I'm going to give Vector's speed a 9 out of 10, as he is capable of very smooth and quickly executed movements that could help him catch or thrust the ball. And I'm only not giving him a 10 out of 10 because we haven't seen enough of his speed. The next key is precision, which refers to the accuracy a belly passer has when thrusting the ball. This key is difficult to grade Vector by, as we've never seen him thrust a ball, or even shoot one of his weapons at a wide distance. Despite this problem, we might be able to assume Vector's accuracy from his name, as he both named himself after and describes the concept of a vector, a mathematical concept visualized by an arrow with both direction and magnitude. Magnitude, of course, referring to the distance or extent of something. This implies that by principle, Vector must have astute accuracy because of his familiarity with direction and distance, and could possibly be using his mathematical knowledge to more precisely calculate thrust distances and direction. I'm going to give Vector an 8 out of 10 for precision because of this, with the assumption that this is true to that extent. The fourth key is endurance, which is definitely what Vector has shown to be the best at, as across all of his appearances, he is constantly surviving and quickly recovering from a multitude of dangers, providing an endurance to threats that are significantly more challenging than any fatigue he would face in belly pass. In fact, across his appearances, Vector is seen surviving the following: getting electrocuted twice, plummeting some 100,000 feet, slamming his face into a metal beam, getting flattened by the moon, slamming into the moon, being fully run over by the moon while being flattened by his ship, falling another few hundred feet, getting his foot squashed by 4,484 pounds and immediately recovering, being completely compacted by rocks and boulders, getting run over at least 11 times by a lunar roving vehicle, and being almost naked on the moon with temperatures potentially as cold as negative 208 degrees Fahrenheit, and slamming his entire body into a metal spacecraft at very intense speeds a total of 8 times. Vector gets a 10 out of 10 for endurance. The last key to cover is perception, which refers to the awareness a belly passer must have of their surroundings. And it's definitely the one that Vector struggles with the most. Throughout his appearances, Vector is constantly being oblivious to things happening around him. He's completely caught off guard when Gru freezes his head. He doesn't notice the cookie robots in his house despite them being right behind him, and still didn't suspect anything when he ate one? He also misses all of the shenanigans Gru and his minions were doing in his lair, despite them being directly above him. He also failed to acknowledge the moon growing to full size behind him while 3 little girls literally screamed at him to do so. Then, he completely misses these minions screaming at him from about 10 feet away in a giant loud spaceship that could help him escape the moon, and he continues to not see the ship until he is thrown directly into it 8 times, despite the ship being literally right in front of him. Vector gets a 2 out of 10 for perception, but what little awareness he might have would be completely useless, as he would need at least a slightly high level of perception for it to help him notice anything about his opponents or surroundings in Belly Pass. Here's what Vector's graph of the 5 keys looks like. And here's how it compares to Shrek's. Let us know if you think you could beat Vector at Belly Pass, and who else you want to see the Belly Pass abilities of. See you next time on Belly Pass TV.